Welcome back to the Movie Draft House. I'm your host, Mark, without a lag, joined by co-host Jeff.
Nobody's going to understand that because we didn't record that part. Little technical difficulties before the recording.
But it's okay. We're all good.
You have low patience for technical difficulties.
I have zero patience for anything, actually.
Well, you've been recording with me for, 3 years now?
Yeah.
That still can't be totally true.
You have stretched my patience. You actually have, allowed me to become less impatient with certain things. So I appreciate you. Jeff, what's the theme this month?
Well, this month's theme is Mark and I's favorite actresses. That's how I'm going to, 3 weeks in, and I figured out how to pitch it. So my favorite actress is Charlize Theron, and Mark's favorite actress is Emma Stone. So we each picked a movie starring the other person's favorite actress. And this week was my chance to pick a film. So I had to pick a movie with Emma Stone, and I chose Cruella from 2021. Runs for 2 hours and 14 minutes, which is a lot longer than I was expecting for a Disney family-friendly movie. I sort of thought it'd be an hour and a half. It was not. It's directed by Craig Gillespie and, of course, stars Emma Stone as well as Emma Thompson. And I guess that's Mark Strong. Why did I think that was Stanley Tucci the whole time? I really thought that was Stanley Tucci. I even Googled Stanley Tucci to look him up.
Stanley Tucci's more flamboyant than Mark Strong. They're both bald-headed, so I can see where that got confusing. But
I mean, just Google Mark Strong and then Tucci, and just
they're very similar looking.
I mean,
but Stanley Tucci typically plays.
Damn, Stanley Tucci's killing his British accent. I didn't know.
Stanley Tucci typically plays some more flavorful characters. Mark Strong is very just stoic in a lot of the stuff that he does. So that's how I can tell them apart. But what do I know? Jeff, you had never seen this film, correct?
No, and have you?
No, I had not either. And it's one of those ones that it came out, kind of in the pandemic. And
didn't this go direct to?
Yeah, it did. And it was one of those. It was one of the bigger direct to streaming releases during the pandemic that I remember. I think Kong, like Godzilla vs. Kong, was another one that went direct to
Mortal Kombat. That movie.
Oh yeah. So I mean, the Cruella was in that same category of film during the pandemic that just went straight to streaming. And I looked up the budget for Cruella, and it was $100 million. And then I looked at the box office, and it grossed $233 million. And so, I don't really understand where that $233 million came from. It must have been mostly overseas, but that's a substantial revenue.
That's a huge pull, especially during 2021.
Yeah. And so a lot of this movie for me is what do I know about Cruella de Vil? I grew up with the original animated Disney film 101 Dalmatians, and I really had no interest in this film prior to the theme in this week. And even though it had Emma Stone, and she is one of my favorite actresses, I just really had no interest in watching this, is because I had no interest in Cruella de Vil origin story. And I 2 hours and 20 minutes is a long time for.
That's how I felt.
It's a long time for this movie. It's because there's different points in this movie. I'm like, why did they choose to keep this sequence here? But I mean, for my overall thoughts on it is that it's held together by Emma Stone and Emma what's her name?
Thompson.
Emma Thompson. And Cole what's his name? Cole Hauser.
I think you mean Stanley Tucci.
No, no, not Stanley Tucci. Paul Hauser. Sorry, not Cole Hauser. Paul Hauser is very good as Horace and as one half of the kind of idiot duo that.
But they're not idiots in this movie.
No, they're not, and
they're extremely capable. Because I was kind of referencing, because I haven't seen 101 Dalmatians in decades, so it is not fresh in my mind. And so some of the references were a little lost on me, other than that they were so heavy-handed that I knew what they were doing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like the two Dalmatian puppies at the end of the movie were the parents in 101 Dalmatians, which I guess we could get into the gap between this Cruella and the Cruella in that film that's going to kill these puppies and turn them into a coat. This Cruella doesn't seem that mean.
She doesn't seem like she's just evil, right? Throughout the film, she has clear motivation, and I just like Emma Stone is very good here. I enjoyed her performance. I enjoyed Emma Thompson's performance. I really enjoyed the performances throughout.
Emma Thompson is so good, to the point to me where I felt like, and again, Emma Stone is a great actress, and I don't want to take anything away from her, but they both are essentially playing a very similar character. And I think Emma Thompson is a lot more effective at really just delivering her lines in a way that don't come across as like cheesy. Yeah. And not that Emma Stone does. I just feel like there's a gap in, I don't want to say talent, but a gap in experience that you can really see with Emma Thompson and her performance compared to Emma Stone. And Emma Stone's great, and she really looks the part. There are several parts in this movie where I'm like, she looks amazing as Cruella de Vil. But, I do feel like Emma Thompson is definitely the strongest in this movie.
Well, I don't really know. And so the twist, not really the twist, but the reveal at the end, the end of the movie, has a lot to do with that. I think them just being very similar type characters. And I did pick up on that midway through. I'm like, oh, they're really the same type of characters. And so like, the foreshadowing of Emma Stone's character, or Cruella being Emma Thompson's daughter, spoiler alert. But, I picked up on that early on, and then, it was kind of constantly foreshadowed, and I appreciated that. It's because they never clearly stated that this could be a thing until later on in the movie. But at the same time, my biggest gripe with this movie is the era that it's set in, and the very heavy-handedness that the director Gillespie, Mike Gillespie or whatever his name is, Craig Gillespie, he chooses to like highlight the era of the film with these like needle drop moments, with just like iconic 70s music, 60s, 70s music.
Well, I don't know that it is. I guess it is. So like, cause the original film came out in 1961.
Right.
So I think they're really trying to keep in that era. Obviously maybe, who knows how many years before the original film this is supposed to take place. So
that's a good point. But, I would have really been on board with this film. It had just been set during present day. I mean, essentially it would have been, what's The Devil Wears Prada, essentially.
Okay. Yes, exactly. So,
and I think this movie is very much like The Devil Wears Prada
I
already.
agree. So it's like two movies. I would say it's one part Devil Wears Prada, one part Ocean's 11.
Yeah, sure.
Like the final half of the movie is very heisty, and I really dug that. I liked the heist. I like the final plan and the execution of it. I thought was really good. And so I kind of appreciated that it was in a lot of ways split up into two parts. Like very much the first part is that Devil Wears Prada, I'm going to ruin your fashion empire. And then the second half is more revenge plot heist. And I think it actually kind of helped a movie that is arguably a little too long go down a little easier because of the tone change in the film.
And I don't disagree, but I do also think that the Wolf...
Wolf of Wall Street.
No, I'm watching this. Like I'm on Craig Gillespie's IMDb, and there's trailers playing. It was Wolf of Wall Street played for whatever reason.
Don't you love that? They just show random ass trailers for shit.
But the a lot of this movie goes down easier for me is because it's strung together by these pretty well thought out action sequences, and I found myself kind of conflicted on how I really thought about this movie when it was over and done with, because like this movie is like, it is moment to moment, but it is also action sequence to action sequence, and they're not bad action sequences. They're very much heisty, just high stakes type things. And I appreciated that. And so, like, when I think about this movie and like, did I actually enjoy it? Yes. But, like, what do I think about it? I was like, well, it is these two different types of movies, because it is very much this familial type drama with this fashion empire, but it also is a heist movie. And how does that blend together in the action sequences, in my opinion, do kind of help blend it. And so at the end of the day, I'm thinking, what kind of movie is this? Is this a strictly a retelling, or is this an actual origin story, or is this its kind of own standalone thing where we're getting a origin story to Cruella de Vil, who is I mean, if you're an OG Disney fan, you know who Cruella de Vil is. I don't know if she's as well known now as a character as the character was, maybe going in the 80s and 90s, but I do think a large part of this film was effective.
I agree. I think it's very visually appealing, with the exception of the CG dog moments. Those look like shit.
Those are terrible. Yeah.
And they really were like stuck out, which kind of sucks, but it's minor thing to complain about. But one of the things is that this won an Oscar for costume design. And I think that's really important, because if you're making a movie about a band that makes good music, that means you have to make really good music. So if we're talking about That Thing You Do, a great film, and the song That Thing You Do is a catchy earworm that you could see totally being a hit back in those days. And I think when you look at the fashion in this movie, and I am not a fashion buff, but I think you can look at it and be like, well, that looks great. That makes sense. And rightly so, the costume designer won an Oscar for this. And I think that, to me, that's something I really admire, is because when you make a movie about people who make great fashion, you have to have someone there that can make great fashion. Otherwise, it just won't work.
Yeah. And that is a large chunk of this film is, kind of the set and the design and the sets, and one of my favorite scenes in the film is when Emma Stone goes and gets the job at the department store or whatever, and she's just having a real hard time. She gets in and she doesn't think she's presented with a job that she didn't think it is what it was. And essentially she's having to do like grunt work and, just clean up shit. And she gets drunk one day and falls asleep and just goes to town on this display. And that's kind of becomes that. Then that's the moment she kind of becomes Cruella de Vil, and that's becomes her calling card. Is that she just graffitis this display, and so I really enjoyed how that was presented. It was very visually appealing. It had a very stylistic feel to it, and so the film then kind of took on that way of presenting itself, and that kept me engaged, just because I was like, oh, I kind of want to see Cruella show up. It's because she kind of took on this Emma Stone took on the split personality type thing, where she's presenting herself as Cruella, but nobody really knows it's Stella, which is kind of unbelievable. But
right, so okay, listen. It's like in Barbie, right? When they had that scene where she's crying and she doesn't feel pretty, and then the narrator's like, note to self, if you're going to write this, maybe cast someone other than Margot Robbie.
Yeah.
And you have to do a lot to make Emma Stone not look like Emma Stone.
Right.
And so the times when she's Cruella and she's it's a very Superman wearing glasses situation. And we just have to let it go and be okay with it. But Emma Stone would be instantly recognizable.
Yeah.
In either way.
Right. And so a lot of the movie just kind of pushes you to suspend this belief that these two characters aren't the same person. And I'm all for that. I just wanted, I guess I wanted more Cruella than I got. And even though she's pretty much, that is the entire second half of the movie. I could have done without a lot of the Stella character and kind of the backstory about how, her adopted mother was killed and all this. And it's like, I don't need all that. I just need to know, like, why I should care about Cruella, the fictional person. And I just felt like the movie kind of tried to do too much with the origin in that aspect, and I didn't really need that. The movie really takes off when we're dealing with Emma Stone versus Emma Thompson, Cruella versus the Baroness or whatever she's called. And we didn't really need as much as we got.
Yeah, I mean, it is long movie for what it is, like the genre and the target audience. I feel like this is maybe more, I guess I assume that you would target this towards like families getting together and watching this, but I feel like kids might not be that high on this one. I don't know.
I would tend to think probably not. This is probably a teenage, early adult style film that has like maybe legs to where maybe Disney's trusting that these kids have seen 101 Dalmatians before and would pick up on, hey, this is the character. This is Cruella de Vil. And like, obviously Emma Stone is very recognizable. She's, one of the most popular actresses working today. So I think having her as Cruella and she fits the part. Like she looks very good in this role. Very believable, very capable. And so I just think that maybe like Disney might just be like diving too far into the deep end with, hey, like we're just trusting that everybody knows who Cruella is at this point, and now we're gonna make Cruella 2. You know, I don't know, but it's.
I don't think they're making Cruella 2.
IMDb says they are.
Oh no, I don't want to watch another one. I guess that's review enough. I mean, but like, I just don't think there's any story left to tell. What are you gonna do? Like, what more do we need between now and 101 Dalmatians?
Well,
I guess we need to see her get even more evil.
Well, I think the end of this movie kind of sets up the second one, is that like then now Cruella 2 tells the story of 101 Dalmatians from maybe Cruella's point of view. I don't know. And I honestly, maybe. I probably wouldn't mind. I probably wouldn't mind seeing that, just simply because the animated movie told it from the dog's perspective. So maybe sympathizing with a misunderstood character would work. I don't know. Because I feel like a lot.
I don't want another one. Like, this was interesting enough. I just don't feel like there's enough, like you said, legs on this story to do another one.
Yeah, it's an interesting. So this movie presented an interesting dynamic as far as how much story can we really tell about a fashion, mogul in the 60s, right? And the story does a capable enough job of just kind of laying out Cruella's backstory. I didn't care. I didn't care about the conflict between Emma Stone and Emma Thompson in regards to, Stone felt that Emma Thompson killed her mom, is because I'm like, why would you go through all of this just to get this necklace? Like, who gives a fuck? But
it's the last physical thing she had from her mom.
Yeah, but physical things don't matter.
Okay, all right, sure, but it was meant something to her. There's memory to it.
Yeah, but then it's all shit on because the lady was not even her mom. So it's like, oh, okay.
Well, at the time she didn't know that.
And then a dog shit out the necklace.
Yeah, the dog did shit out the necklace. Yes.
And Mark Strong's like, I bleached this
Stanley
bitch.
Tucci addressed it, thankfully. Mark Strong, I don't mean to be disrespectful, but man, I thought that was Tucci.
Mark Strong is a very subdued Mark Strong in this movie. He's typically either a villain or like kind of a badass type character, and him playing a heartfelt butler in this movie just felt weird and wrong, and I didn't like it. For sure, I didn't like it.
You made it sound like it made you uncomfortable.
Well, it's just like, Mark Strong is like showing up as like the butler, and he's just like kind of just giving advice and shit. I don't know. What did you think of the performances in the film?
As I said, Emma Thompson kind of acts circles around everyone. She's sort of brilliant. I think Emma Stone's excellent. Like, she really owns the role, only to be slightly outshone by Emma Thompson, who I think now is my favorite actress. So you got to pick a different movie for next week. Just kidding.
Got you.
But I also really like not Horace, Jasper. I thought he was really good. He had a lot of range and things he had to do. And I think he did well. Very likable character. And the costume design with it, this is Joel Fry who played him. I really liked his outfits and stuff too, because they were more subdued, but they were still really stylish and he looked cool. And then Horace is hilarious. He's the comic relief. I love the whole bit with his Krispies were on the floor now, when Cruella knocked him over. I thought that was really funny. So I think across the board, it's pretty great performances. I really enjoyed all the acting. And anytime that either Cruella or Emma Thompson's character were on screen, I was definitely paying a lot of attention because they were very good.
Yeah. I don't know if it's fair to say that Emma Thompson acts circles around Emma Stone.
That might be extreme.
Yes. But it is like you brought up an interesting dynamic of experience as far as Emma Stone versus Emma Thompson here. And quite clearly, Emma Thompson has a ton of experience. And in 2021, Emma Stone is very much regarded as one of the best actresses, working. And so I just think the dynamic between the two of them is, as actresses go, is pretty cool because Emma Thompson, she's such a good character actress.
Whoa, nope, disagree. She is not a character actress.
I think she is.
No.
I think like she plays certain roles.
Incorrect.
She has a more gravitational pull when she's playing these not menacing type characters, but just quirky type characters.
See that I really object to the term character actor because I really think that's false for her. I think her role in Love Actually, being the mom who finds out that she's being cheated on, I think her roles in Sense and Sensibility, where she isn't this hard ass person. I think of Nanny McPhee, where she is the hard ass person, but then it kind of lightens over time, and she has this whimsical nature to her. I have to firmly disagree with the sentiment that she's a character actress. I cannot abide by that. She's far too talented to be called that. And nothing against character actors,
right?
But they tend to only perform one certain way and one certain thing, and I just don't think that's true about her.
But also, you're kind of taking it, or like you're treating that the title character actress as a negative. I don't view it as a negative.
I don't either, but what I'm taking it as is that she plays certain kind of roles. So much like you're talking about with fake Stanley Tucci, is he's always these stoic kind of roles. That's a character actor. Or you might be able to say Jack Black is kind of a character actor. He kind of plays a lot of the same characters and does his own thing basically in all the movies. You're watching a Jack Black movie, and I love Jack Black, but with Emma Thompson is insanely skilled of an actress, and I can point out roles that are so vastly different from the others, and do it with ease because while I'm not saying being a character actor is bad, but I don't think that's the case with Emma Thompson. I just am going to disagree is all.
And that's fair. I'm looking through her filmography now, and like she does have very different roles throughout her filmography. So
she's the crazy professor in Harry Potter, Professor Trelawney.
Correct. Right.
I mean, that's all. I just disagree.
No, it's fine. It's fine. Now that you've like given me your explanation of what you feel as a character actress, or actor, in looking at her filmography, I'm like, okay, I can get behind that she's not that, but she does play these type of characters very well. She plays.
Give me one more. Oh, she does play them well. Never mind. I apologize.
Yeah.
No, she plays them well. I thought you were going to say she plays them a lot.
No. She plays these type of characters well, and these type of characters, the over the top, the look at me, the hey, I'm just this kind of bigger than life type character. She plays that well, and having Emma Stone go up against an actress like Emma Thompson, who it has this gravitational pull. Every time she's on screen, Emma Thompson just steals the show. It's a home run, and she has the just the look in the film to where it backs up the over the top, the gravitational pull of Emma Thompson, and so And maybe that was the point of the film, is that Emma Stone.
It's always a problem. All we needed was Emma Watson in this, and we'd be fucked. Like we would never get the name right.
But Emma Stone, maybe the point was like, hey, let's have Cruella the character kind of morph into the Baroness. And like the blurring of those two characters. And I think it's a unique way to tell a story, is when you have this reveal towards the end of the film where, hey, this person is actually the grown daughter of this person, but they actually are the same type of character, and their performance are very similar, even though Emma Thompson does deliver a more well-rounded performance. I think it's good storytelling where you can't really see the seam where Cruella and the Baroness like kind of like they become two characters. They're the same character. Other than the end of the film, they're the same character throughout, and I appreciated that.
And which made me kind of think, like, so they did a live action version of 101 Dalmatians with Glenn Close, and it kind of made me think Emma Thompson would have slain that role. Like, it would have been insane. And I've never seen the other one, and Glenn Close might be awesome in it. I don't know.
Well, she's straight villain in that movie. So.
Yeah, but I felt like Emma Thompson was essentially playing Cruella. Just,
Yeah. And that's the interesting aspect to this, is that they're secret mother and daughter, and the audience is clued into that without the movie telling you, is because it's presenting the same character at two different points in their lives, and so like that, I'm more than on board with that. I just think that this film just kind of grew too long. Like, it didn't need to be as long as it was. I didn't need to have as many action sequences. I didn't need to have as much of a backstory to Cruella as I got, and that's why I'm not lukewarm, but I'm like I'm right there at like liking this film, but I'm also right there at like I could give it a pass.
Yeah. I think if you look at my reaction to them making a sequel, I kind of think how I feel. Like, I think this is a good movie, but I don't want it anymore. I think there's a lot of good things about it, and I could see someone really loving this. But I also have this hard time with what I think to be, again, I haven't seen 101 Dalmatians in ages, but what feels like two very different characters between the Cruella in that movie and the Cruella in this. I can't imagine this Cruella killing dogs and skinning them.
Right.
And also, she gifts dogs to one guy who she barely knows, which is Roger, the attorney, and then the other one to Anita, who, if I am understanding correctly, I guess are going to get married and have the 101 Dalmatians later on.
Yes.
And
Pongo,
then she's going to
Perdita.
go there and steal them from her friends. Well, maybe not Roger, but definitely Anita and her have at least some sort of mutual respect. And I felt like those were problems I had with the continuity of the original.
Yeah.
And to swallow it, I have to just be like, it's a different world, different universe. This is a different Cruella where things kind of worked out differently.
Well, and I think that's a unique way of looking at that, is that, hey, this isn't the 101 Dalmatians that I grew up with. It's because you're right. Like this version of Cruella isn't the complete villain that I grew up with, or you grew up with, whoever. There is aspects
I didn't grow up with her. It came out in the 60s, bitch.
But there are aspects to this character of Cruella in this film that are very dark. What's his name? Jasper has to talk Cruella out of killing the Baroness, and it's just like there's darkness here. And Cruella kind of is like right on that, hey, like I want to embrace this darkness. I want to dive into it. But she's got enough people around her and the support system that to where she doesn't need to. And so I do think that's an interesting development in the character and how the character is portrayed and what could be done with the character in the future. It is a bit of subversion from what Cruella de Vil has always been.
Yeah, I think so.
So do you recommend this one?
No, I don't. I don't like it enough to do that. But it's good. I mean, I don't honestly have a lot of negatives other than what I was mentioning about the. I think the runtime's a bit long. I don't really feel that invested in the characters, despite them being well acted, and I think pretty well done. Unlike a lot of times, I don't know what I could point at to make this actually better, because I think they hit what they were going for. Because I don't think anybody wants to see a movie about your lead who would willingly kill puppies. And I think that's a smart decision, but it also makes it so it doesn't feel quite like it fits in the same world exactly. But I think it's worth a watch, but I don't know that I can recommend it. No.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I don't hate this movie. I actually enjoyed it. I just don't think that it's that tier of film to where I'm like, yes, you need to see this. Let's watch it again. But like it, at the end of the day, like the performances, the sets, all of it's very good, and like as a Disney film, as a live action Disney film, that's kind of retelling or giving a different perspective on an established character. They've certainly made worse. So, if you're interested in that, you can.
Well, so what this kind of made me interested in, though, was, and I haven't watched it, but it would be Maleficent, which is them kind of doing the same thing, taking the strong female antagonist and making a movie about her.
Right.
And I'd be interested to see what they did there. The problem is that the characters in the films are so evil that when you try to base a movie around an evil person, it's hard to make people want to watch and root for that lead. I mean, I've seen it done, I've seen, the entire Bates Motel series is about Norman Bates, who's going to end up being this monster. And it's really intriguing, but
think of Joker, the movie Joker.
Oh, I hate that movie. I did not like Joker. It was so pretentious. But anyway, but I'm still going to watch this damn musical one because
Folie à Deux.
Oh, it's not. I don't.
I'm looking forward to it. Like I really much enjoyed that.
I hope you enjoy it. I just I was not big on the Joker.
No, but I think that movie is what you're describing as far as
I think they owned the shittiness of them more.
Yeah.
And there's ways to do it. I mean, shit, half of Tarantino's movies are about people who are horrible. Mm-hmm. And people love it, So
Yeah. No, I mean it's how you tell the story, right? You can your movie can be about a terrible person, but if the story is told in a way that makes you sympathize and have some empathy towards the character, then it doesn't matter who the character is. You can make a movie about Adolf Hitler and it'd be sympathetic. You can.
But go ahead and try it. What you just said was someone should make. Well, not you didn't say this exactly, but you used essentially
paraphrase,
Nazi
please.
sympathizer is what you said. So I'm going to give you a chance to recant what you've said.
No.
I'm going to give you a chance to not be a Nazi sympathizer here.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to do you one better.
Okay.
There's a movie coming out about Donald Trump, right?
Okay. Whoa. Somebody, you say I said Nazi, you said Trump. Okay, keep going. I like where this is going.
But like, you can tell a story about anybody ever in the history of man. And as long as you tell the story well, it'll be well received. Not that people will like get behind it, but like
that's
it'll
not
be well
what
received.
You said. You said
I said you could tell.
You'll get sympathy.
No, I said you could make a movie about Adolf Hitler and make it sympathetic, and as long as you tell the story well, people will feel
Lord,
sympathetic.
Don't do it.
I'm just saying, like, it's
I-
possible. It's possible. I'm not saying. I'm not saying you should
it'd be a
feel.
huge mistake. I think it would be a huge mistake.
I'm not saying you should feel sympathetic. I'm just saying if it's a well told story, you can manipulate any type of feeling you want.
Sure. Okay. Should you?
Should you? No. I mean,
Should
right?
you
No.
make a sympathetic Nazi film?
No. The answer
Are you
is
sure,
no.
Mark? You don't want to double down?
I'm just saying, like, the answer to that question is no.
Good.
However,
Thank you.
we've
Whoa.
seen.
No, that's you. Just stop there, Mark. What are you doing? The answer to the question is no. Anyway, next week, we're going to be watching Tully from 2018, directed by Jason Reitman and starring Charlize Theron. I saved you. Oh, Lord.
It's written by Diablo Cody.
Yeah, and what's interesting is Mark Duplass is in this, and he played Charlize Theron's husband in Bombshell, which we reviewed last week.
Yeah, this is true.
Okay, I'm going to give you another chance here. Remember Charleston or whatever that was that happened? I can't remember the whole thing where the Nazi far right people were there, and people kept giving Donald Trump a chance.
Yes,
they kept. Are you sure? Listen, can you denounce white supremacy? And he'd be like, both sides, right? Okay, all right. Should they make a movie that shows Adolf Hitler in a sympathizing way?
No.
Thank God. Okay, we're going to go ahead and get out of here. I don't. You want to do this? If you want to get in touch with Mark and tell him don't be a Nazi sympathizer, you can. You can find him on Twitter at I Heard You Liked.
And you can't find Jeff anywhere because he deactivated his shit.
I deactivated all my shit.
But if you want to follow the podcast on all your favorite social media platforms, we're at Movie Draft House. You can find us on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, right here on YouTube. So make sure you hit the subscribe button when it pops up so you don't miss any future content right here on the podcast. And don't forget, the podcast releases weekly every Thursday on your favorite podcast streaming platform. Jeff, any last words?
Nope, none whatsoever. Have a good week.